What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Technique Tuesday, and I have here with us Papa Ridgehand, aka Mr. T, aka Pops. If we're gonna do a Technique Tuesday, we might as well do it right, and you know, having you on as Papa Ridgehand.
Thank you.
We are going to, you're gonna show us how to do a ridge hand.
We're going to show you the details in the ridge hand.
Now, the ridge hand is not a common technique you see in MMA. No. Now, karate, I've seen it in karate, I've seen it in movies, but I mean, you've had some great use with the ridge hand and many different ways to do a ridge hand. So, Pops, let's get after this thing. What do you say?
Okay. So, the ridge hand, it's an open hand strike. It's done with the what's called the inside ridge of the hand, actually.
So what you're saying is it's not called rich hand.
All right, so the ridge hand, you strike with the inside ridge of the hand. The classic ridge hand is taught to be struck with this inside knuckle right there. But unfortunately, it does require a massive development of that joint by many years of striking it, and creating this gigantic bone structure growing out so that it protrudes past the thumb. Me personally, I ain't gonna do all that. I like to have good, tough knuckles and all that, but I'm not gonna do this until I have this big giant bone sticking up.
Ugly.
And just to use that and strike somebody with.
Women don't like it.
So I don't execute the ridge hand with the hand itself. I use the inside the wrist. Okay, so one thing about striking with the inside of the wrist is it does help to get these joints out of the way, out of the picture, out of the striking picture. If I do a classic ridge hand, I strike with the inside of the index finger. That's the classic strike on the ridge hand. But I use the wrist, and I don't have to worry about the hand. Now, I do lose a little length on it, but I'm willing to risk that so that I don't injure myself with striking with the inside the index finger.
So that open hand techniques can be effective.
Oh, they are.
People think it's like, oh my God, karate chop, huh? You want to do a karate chop? I'm like, boy, if you knew how to do a karate chop, you would do some damage to somebody.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's a blade.
Yeah.
It's an open hand blade, and it's a fine weapon. You get tremendous penetration, but it's been made jokes of over the years. So, therefore, they do work.
Tony's laughing at the penetration.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, I don't recommend you guys, going out there trying to break stuff like sticks, boards, if you haven't developed a hand to be able to take that kind of punishment, because you will break your hand.
You will.
You will break your hand.
You will break, that's right.
But in a real street situation, I don't think you have to have a whole lot of hand conditioning to do damage if you hit the right spot.
That's right.
Now, like you've hit the face, but you've developed that over years, right? Okay, so what are the practical applications to a ridge hand? What are your targets?
For me, number one target on the ridge hand is the brachial plexus area, or the area between the ear to the trap. That area right in there is a great target. I try to stay off the Adam's apple, of course, because that's crushing. You don't want to go there. But you strike that inside that brachial plexus, that right there, that puts people to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So that's be my number one. Number two would be, of course, the groin area. I could go there with it. Then number three would be to the body. I try to stay away from anything on the mask or from the ears up. Too hard, and it makes too much of a mess.
So bleeding and stuff.
Bleeding.
If you're
teeth.
Right.
Teeth.
If you're like in a situation, you know what kind of what's in this dude's blood. You know what I'm saying? You don't get blood already.
I try to stay off of hard joints. Sometimes you can't help it. You throw it and he moves the shoulder and you hit it, but it is what it is.
So let's go
now,
to this.
I have real quick. Didn't mean to interrupt. Yes, I actually did. I have been hit myself in the top of the head with the ridge hand. Boom! Came out of nowhere. My karate teacher did that to me one time. I saw stars. Lesson learned.
That's right.
Be careful how you try to be all big shot with your karate teacher.
So let's go over the technique, okay? Okay.
When you deliver a ridge hand, there's lots of ways, of course, but I'm gonna demonstrate what I think is the most efficient method of applying the ridge hand, and the target's gonna be the brachial plexus, okay? So I've seen people come back here, wind it up, which I've been hit with those, but not very often. And wind up and then throw it. You get a lot of steam on that. But sometimes, well, it's easy to block, kind of hard, easy to see. You see it coming, you can defend against it. What I like to do is I like to make it appear that I'm throwing a straight right in this direction. As my hand's traveling, I open the hand and I make the ridge hand formation, which is thumb reaching to the opposite side of the hand just to get it out of the way. And then, of course, that edge right through there, primarily here, is what I'm going to strike with. I can hit with that. It's not ideal. This is, for me, ideal.
Now, if you notice something, see how his fingers are curled kind of down? That kind of hardens the hand. Yeah. You don't want your hand to kind of flop around. Right. You want to curl the fingers in, it makes that hand very dense. You want a dense, hard weapon to penetrate.
That's right. I take the hand and I extend it out. As it's traveling, keeping the elbow bent as I torque the body and hips and drive it into the target.
You keep the elbow bent so you don't hyperextend
That's right,
that
so you
elbow.
don't lock that elbow out. I've done that before too. Ooh, hit and boom, elbow's jacked for a long time.
So keeping it bent.
Guard up, extend, hand opens, elbow bent, and then this right here is the key to making it happen. Just right there, right to the neck.
So you've got to pivot power, baby.
Hips.
Turn the back foot, just like when you throw a baseball. Pivot like you throw a head punch or an uppercut.
A little bit more difficult to defend against if it's up and downward. This is a little bit easier to defend against if you came straight up into it. Let's try it. So bring it up, roll it over, boom. Roll it right over. Beautiful technique. Beautiful.
So get practice. You've been wanting me to do this for the longest time in an MMA fight. You may see it. You may see it in my next fight.
Never know.
All right, Dad, to kind of close this out, last question for you. You know, we all know you could probably use this in a street situation, but could this be used in a competitive situation, such as an MMA fight?
100%. It'd be a great technique. The issue with the ridge hand is, one, if you're not really tuned up with it, you can literally injure yourself. You know, if you hit wrong target, maybe hit the skull, you can injure your own hand. So you got to be really nice and efficient.
Tuned up on it
to make it really effective in a competitive environment.
And I think so too. It is literally a karate technique. And not a whole lot of MMA fighters train karate, so they don't even know about it. Well, there you have it, guys. The ridge hand with the Papa Ridge hand.
Totally saying ridge.
No, I'm not. Ridge hand. Ridge hand.
Okay.
I'm not saying ridge hand. I'm saying ridge hand.